Good morning. Hello, KO2 fan. How are you doing today? Happy Friday. And Esitsu, hello. Uh, I am looking forward to experimenting a little bit more with Lambda and Rust. And so we left off yesterday with you get a little bit bigger. Not structure, Rust. Okay, so we left here with this close. With this being our bootstrap file. So we learned a few things. Microphone sounds better than last time, but still a bit off. Interesting. I haven't been changing the settings. I don't know what's going on. I rebooted the computer. That probably helps. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can try some other things maybe. But I'm not sure. It's weird. Maybe I'll have to go and like completely redo some of the settings on it. One of the things I've always wanted to do is invite over one of my friends who's an audio person who actually knows how to like set all these things up properly, and just get them to like help me with everything, lighting. I guess like probably not lighting. I don't think they're video people, but they're audio people. So like they can help me set up the microphone, the pop screen, the positioning, all the settings, everything. It'll probably be expensive because they'll recommend me buy a lot of stuff. But okay, that's neither here nor there. All right, so here's what we have for our bootstrap file. So here's what we learned so far. We learned that we can create a custom sort of like runtime for Lambda. We don't need to set up any kind of like Docker images or anything else like that, although we could. We could just set up a script that's going to run whenever, I believe that whenever the Lambda function warms up. So from what I understand, the back end, or like behind the scenes, the Lambda function is sort of like just sitting there. It's not like running. There's no active VM or container or anything else like that. And then we hit it, and so it spins up, runs the bootstrap, figures out everything that needs to installs any any necessary libraries or files or whatever, and then leaves it running in memory. So the first time you hit it, it takes a while, and then every time after that, it's super fast. And then if you don't hit it again for a while, it goes to sleep again. So that's and then the entire process starts over again. So this bootstrap will potentially take a little bit more time for the initial start, but potentially be faster once we run, depending upon what type of like Rust thing we're going with. At the very worst, it can't be any slower than a normal node Lambda function. Okay. Also, it could be my voice. I didn't get that much sleep. Like I woke up at 5 this morning and then just like couldn't go back to sleep. So then my alarm went off at 6 and I was like, okay, I guess I'm getting up. And so like my voice, I actually do sound like my voice is a little bit off today. So maybe that's what it is too. So this works. This calls our program, and we get the hello world from Rust. Certainly as a microphone, seems like it cuts out a single ear for half a second. That is so weird. Do I have like a gate on it by accident? I usually try not to keep gates on, but it could be. Yeah, no gate is on. And I don't know enough about these settings to know what I should be doing with them. So I'll just leave those alone for right now. Could also be, oh, my gain was up on this. Okay, how about this? Maybe I was blowing it out. I turned the gain down. Okay, so anyways, this just does a print here. So what I want, oh, and yesterday. Did I not save it? I thought I saved this. I did not save it, apparently. Oh, well, that's too bad. Don't open it. Okay. So yesterday, right after the stream, I looked and I found, let me see if I can find it in history. I found a sort of a like how-to. Yes, here it is. So a Medium article on how to create custom Lambda functions. Specifically, this person developed a Lambda function in Perl. We're not going to do that, but this article, just from what I basic read on it, even though it's from 2018, so it's a little bit old, I don't believe that Lambda has really changed at all since then. So they have a couple different things to sort of mention here, and I think that's going to help us out. So the handler info, so the file name and the method name are in this predefined handler. And so what we can do is we can actually echo out what some of these are, sort of like see them and like, well, know what they are. So let's do this. We'll say echo handler, specifically handler. Okay, that's one. The runtime passes the event data to the handler, the function handler, and posts the response from the handler back to Lambda. The custom runtime runs in the standard Lambda execution environment, so we have to figure everything else out ourselves, so like potentially installing Rust up or installing Rust somehow, or more likely, we did this already. We compiled for Linux, and so we don't need to install Rust or anything else. We just need to call it. Make sure the Lambda runtime is as below on AWS console or provided. So we did that already. The runtime can be included in your functions deployment package or in a layer. So the layer thing is going to be nice because that means I don't need to, like, I can share this across everything else, and it's just, well, it's just available. They can do Rust Lambda functions very easily, very fast. Okay. All right, so we have handler, and so if we just run this, I don't necessarily do anything else. We know we have Lambda task root too. Let's do this. Okay, so we have those two environment variables so far. Let's take this, put you over into here. Wish I had like a good way of like throwing this off. If I make you full screen, no, that full screen's that. I really want to be able to toggle off that top nav bar, but I don't know a way to do that. That would be the best. Well, maybe I can just. Where's my select element? How do I do that in Safari? Make everything harder. So that's the body. That's okay, that's you. So I want you to. There we go. Right-click the DOM element in the DevTools and hide toggle visibility. Okay, that works. So if I run test with this, so we get hello from Bootstrap, hello world from, oh, I need to. Okay, so our handler is hello, and then just dot handler. Our Lambda task root, var task is where it sits in this computer, and then it runs twice. Is that because I have the test set up? I'm sending only one of these, but it executed that twice, and I don't know why. I wonder if it tried twice because the first time it failed because I didn't like respond correctly. That's interesting. But okay, so we see that this one is hello.handler. The reason why that is hello is, I mean, our function name is Rust test here. Oh, handler, okay. The handler info just says hello.handler here. So I guess it's assuming that there is a function, no, a file named hello, and inside of that, a function named handler. And so this is like a little bit of state to tell me inside the Bootstrap file where the code is and how to execute it. So I could potentially change this to be like the name of the executable that I'm looking for, or maybe like a directory, and then figure that out, break it out. But okay, doesn't really matter for like this specific. But you are so handler defines and function. The Lambda task root. So this is a directory where the function lives, and it's not just a directory; it's a full path. So it's a full root directory. So, for example, slash var. So, and then this one is hello. Now I could overwrite this myself and change what the handler is when I define the function. So I could make this like custom, and also that's the reason why I have to have this as an environment variable, because it's certainly possible that different functions might have different needs. Okay. All right, so a few things happen. the function gets initialized and it loads the we want to load the handler file, handle any errors. If an error occurs, call the Initialization Error API and exit immediately. So this is something that I'm not doing, and I think why it exits out and has a hard time with me. And this is something AWS has done for a long time, which is all of their communication happens through API calls and HTTP API calls, to be specific. So when I'm done, I'm going to send an API call out from the Bootstrap file to say, I had an error, here's the error message. Or I was successful, here's the result. Which I thought that's actually, it's going to be pretty cool. It also shows like things are, it does slow things down, but not too terribly much. Okay, get an event. Okay, so first of all, handle errors. If an error occurs, call the Initialization Error API and exit immediately. And this links to the AWS documentation on this. If the function returns an error or the runtime encounters an error during initialization, the runtime uses this method to report the error to Lambda. So path of runtime init error, method at post. So okay, an example of initializing that error, we curl post. Oh, then we have this AWS Lambda runtime API that we can then use. Interesting, to pass in a date runtime init error. What? The date. Wait, why is there a date in there? Is that their version name? Where's their list of oh, here's all their environment variables that they set up for us. So execution environments, log group name, log stream name, so I could send out log messages. That's nice. Oh, this one doesn't have the X API. Oh, it's part of the runtime API. So that's also not in here. Wait, yeah, not in here. To send a register request, use the prefix 2020-0101 before each API path. The open APIs are the version 2021. It's available here. Okay. All right, so I wanted to go to initialization error. Well, it doesn't really say anywhere like specifically in the code, but this is apparently the version that we're hitting. And so we send a post request to AWS Lambda runtime API, runtime init error. And so that's going to be, hey, we initialized and couldn't run, and it's an unhandled error. All right. Get an event, call the next invocation API to get the next event. The response body contains the event data. Response headers contain the request ID and other information. Create a context object. Create an object with context information from environment variables, headers, and the API response. Invoke the function handler. Pass the event and context object to the handler. And then finally, handle the response. Call the Invocation Response API to post the response from the handler. All right, so. So he created a Perl installation. And then the bootstrap file is just a shell script. Okay, so they do this, pipe fail. So this exits out immediately in the case that there is a failure. So it's probably a good idea for us to have this. So exit out immediately in case it is a failure. Any of the He-Man, hello. I still don't have a today command. I actually removed it from the aliases because it was giving me problems. Anyways, we're working on getting a Lambda function working with Rust without having to use Docker. And so we're using, so far we're sort of like building up a bootstrap file, which is sort of executed as a shell script to set up the environment whenever the Lambda function warms up and gets started. All right, so next up, initialization the loader function handler. Right, so it's always in that sort of like file dot method, but I don't really care about that because we don't have like a method to run it. How long did it take for me to learn Rust to be comfortably program in it? You're learning it as painstakingly hard. I guess like I might be a little bit different because possibly because I was like a system administrator for so long and you just work in a lot of foreign technologies all the time. And then also I was doing a lot of teaching. I never really felt too uncomfortable in Rust and sort of like doing stuff in it. But I would say that it took over a year before I was like capable of doing like complex things in it. Does that help? I'm a little bit more like I've just spent a lot of time doing like interesting like sort of modeling off how to like just jump into foreign language and just do stuff. But yeah, it can be very hard. I think the key is to figure out as quickly as possible, and this is the learning of Rust, how to stop fighting Rust and how to like just, oh, okay, they're telling me to do this, let me just start doing it that way. And once you stop fighting Rust, I think things become a lot easier. And the more lessons that you have to unlearn, the harder that's going to be. Okay, so they get the handler and they cut that off. Now, in my case, I don't need to do any of this. Well, I could though. Couldn't I? So we see here that I have this Lambda Rust. This is my file. So if the handler itself is called hello, let's actually change this. Can I do this like Lambda Rust? Can I just that? Look at that. Okay, successfully updated. So now if I run my test again, I'm really curious. It Yeah, it's fine for me to do that. So by default, the handler is that file name dot method name. But in this case, because it's just a binary that I'm going to be executing, I can just set that to be the file name, which is perfect. So let's see. So handler defined in Lambda function. By default, this is file name dot method, or like function name. However, it's possible to set the handler to be a single, just a single value, like and rest. Okay, so then in that case, instead of this echo, I'm going to rename this into another variable to make it sort of obvious what we're working with. So this is going to be like sort of the file name, the binary name, the executable, binary name. Okay, so that's our handler, and so we've got that out here, just sort of renaming it to be a little bit more obvious of what this is. Although maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. Okay, so we have the handler. I want to first cd into Lambda task root, so we're going to do that here. So cd into Lambda task root. So this is gives us the full path to directory. The file is in. EKS, hello. I think my microphone is configured incorrectly. I know, that's what I've been getting, and I have no idea what, like I've tried changing some settings. I have no idea what's going on. Seems like your default output or input device is not the one in front of you. Maybe it's not. Hold on, let me try, because like it's really loud in OBS. Maybe that's my problem too. Hold on, let me try turning that volume down a little bit, and also I could try setting everything. It doesn't look like a different microphone being used. Okay, hold on. What other microphones are around that could be being used? I guess I have two. We have. Okay, that I scraped the edge of my camera. I wonder if that's the camera. Yeah, so that's a C922. That is not a good. Okay, so microphone. I want this. How about this one? Is this sounding any better? Amazing. Okay. All right. Well, you know what's surprising? I was really expecting that would not be catching my voice so loudly, because it's decently far away.
And when I like scraped this one this morning or like the other day, oh, I guess like when I rebooted, it like for some reason grabbed. Okay, I don't know. It's weird, but I'm glad it's working again. Okay, awesome. Sorry about the really potato quality microphone for a little bit. Maybe a little bit quiet, but sounds much better. It still, I guess it's not peaking that much. Okay, hold on. Let's make it a little bit louder again. All right, how about this? That should be a little bit better. All right. Okay, so perfect indeed. Okay, what were we doing? Right. So the Lambda task root gives us the full path to the directory that the executable, that the file we are going to run is. Now, I guess like specifically, this where it shows like the rust dash test, which is the name of this Lambda function here. When I cd in there, that's where I'm going. Okay, so in this case, we will cd into a directory called rust test. Right, or it's like var task rust test, or just var task, I think. Var task. I think they're just naming this that, because look, it's just slash. And it is read only for us. Okay, so we cd into this. We have our handler defined here, so we can now execute what this is and get the result. So what I want to do is get result equals to this. Okay. All right, back to this. I want to execute it too. So this. How do I run it? How do I run this? Because this is. Oh, I know why. I know how to do it. I want to do like this. Except without the hash. Let's do $. Wait. Handler. Is it like that? Or I can do like / run handler that way? Or do I still go like that? I don't remember anymore. But okay, I think that this is going to now execute this. Oh, my other choice is, because we're in shell, I can do like sh-c for like an exec mode to run it. That would probably actually be better. All right, I want to experiment with that. Let's just open up. Now I'm on a Mac here, but like just general shells should be still relatively the same. Like if I open up sh, if I do sh-c, and then I want to run. Okay, so and my bootstraps. Let's touch test.sh. And let's just do echo I ran. this test.sh is not executable. So can I tell it to execute regardless? So can I do th dot c test.sh shell. Okay, dash e, and then tells it, okay, I ran, and that gets it out. So I don't need to chmod it to get it working. I can just do shell dot. Okay, I think this is maybe a little bit safer way to do it. So I'm gonna do run this file with the shell, and then grab the output and stuff it into this variable. Okay. Back to here. Case, they're just grabbing that. Okay, so processing. So they do an infinite loop. An infinite loop, and then do headers equals make temp. Make temp? Is that a command? I feel like that's a command. Make temp. Oh yeah, that's probably a much safer thing. Yeah, that's a good call. Let's do that. Okay, so temp. First of all, is there a man? Make a temporary file. Wait, make temporary file name. Takes each of the given file name templates and overwrites a portion of it to create a file name. This file name is unique and suitable for use by the application. The template may be any file name with some number of x's appended to it. For example, temp xxx. The trailing x's are replaced with a current process number and or a unique letter combination. Well, that's cool. Okay, so he does make temp with nothing in it. So it's make temp with a template. Well, if you're going to use make temp, why don't you give it the template? Okay. Get an event. They curl. Oh, interesting with the header. Okay, so now I want to go back to here to like get the event. Okay, so we init so I actually don't need to download anything. Everything should be just fine for me because I have the binary that just works in AWS. That's going to be fine. The init phase is split into 3 subphases: extension init, runtime init, and function init. These subphases ensure that all extensions and the runtime complete their setup tasks before the function code runs. Okay. Okay, so start the extension. Okay, bootstrap the runtime is my script. That's when I run the runtime. And then run the function static code, which is the function init. The init phase ends when the runtime and all extensions signal that they are ready by sending a next API request. The init phase is limited to 10 seconds. If all 3 tasks do not complete within 10 seconds, Lambda retries the init phase at the time of the first. That's the retry. So it didn't finish, so it retried, and then it failed again, and so it's like, I'm done. Okay, so I need to call the next API request. Okay. So extensions API. So yes, this is literally what they just told us again. Okay, the invoke phase. The runtime process calls function init to start the function init phase. So I need to send a message. Okay, so Lambda function. Where's my bootstrap in here? I don't see it. Okay, init error. The extension uses this method to report an initialization error to Lambda. Call it when the extension fails to initialize after it has registered. After Lambda receives the error, no further API calls succeed. The extension should exit after it receives the response from Lambda. So if there is an error of some kind, then I want to call this. With a post, okay, headers, Lambda extension identifier, unique identifier for extension, required yes, type UUID string. Okay, so Lambda extension identifier. So they weren't, this wasn't what we're seeing here. This is, I actually don't see them sending a message off at all. Like this can't fail according to this bootstrap file. So instead, we're into the processing where we do this while true loop. So I guess we'll start with a while true. So process the, we'll figure that out. So while true, do, done. Now he has this, okay, so he gets headers, which he uses a temporary file. Is that a temporary file or is it just a temporary, I want to experiment with this here. So this is make temp. So if I do make temp, so like test dot, yeah, look at that. It actually created that as a file here. If I do what they're doing, where I say like test equals make temp like this, with quotes around it, shouldn't change how this works. Oh, lack of spaces. Again, I don't think that it cares. Oh, it does care, okay. So, echo test. Interesting. Okay, so that creates it like that. Did it actually create that? It did indeed. Okay, so that created a file, and it also stored where that file is. Are you? Oh, are you storing this as where the headers are going to come in from? So curl. Oh, okay. What's okay? Now I need to look up man curl. What is D? So what is that? That's dash D. Dump header. Write the received protocol headers to the specified file. If no headers are received, the use of this option will create an empty file. Okay, that's what's going on here. He's creating a file in a temporary space. It's completely random, and then dumping the headers to there because you can't. Okay, so that's good. Also, sorry about that. What happened there? Let me check Nightbot. Nope, wrong keyboard. This key. Let's see. Oh, explain shell. Interesting. Okay, so that was explain shell.com. Okay, so examples. So like write down a command here. So if we do curl -d dump header, write the protocol headers to the specified file. Oh, this is really cool. This is a nice website. I'm gonna have to keep this around. But okay, so let's dump this entire thing in here. Let's do it up until the pipe. Unexpected token. So well, you're okay. Are you actually trying to execute this? Where is that? Okay, so don't try to navigate there. Okay, so there is this closing parentheses here, which does not ever get opened. Oh, it gets opened here. Okay, so event data equals. So this is the curl that I want, right to here. Okay, here we go. So we obviously have curl. So that's like go out and do an HTTP request. Dash S is silent. Don't show progress meters or error messages. With the capital S, show error. So basically when it's be silent except when there's an error. L, location. If the server reports that the requested page has moved to a different location, this option will make curl redo the request on the new location. Okay, so if it has like a 303 redirect or something like that, don't just follow it. Redo the request from scratch. Okay, D is dump the header. So write the protocol headers to the specified file. And then X here is the request specifies a custom request method to use when communicating with the HTTP server. The specified request will be used instead of the method otherwise used, which defaults to get. So notice here, they're doing a get. So we can actually leave the X off because it's just a get request. And we want to get this back, okay? We want to get the results of that. Now, why do we care about the headers? What are we going to do with them? So we cd these into temp. Well, I guess like he then takes. So this is all one line. And then request ID, grep for the Lambda runtime AWS request ID out of headers. Okay. The directory Lambda task root, which is var task, is read only. So copy the Perl runtime. Okay, so basically he's copying Perl out of the layer. None of this we need to do at all. Copy the Perl Lambda script from Lambda. Okay, all that stuff. Update it with the actual script name. Execute the handler function. Okay, so none of this we need to do at all. Okay, so basically all of this stuff is just so that he could run the response. Okay, so now get an event. This part is important because we have to get an event to grab the next thing that we're working on. So we do have to do this part. So let's see, where is that? That's runtime API. Runtime invocations next. Is that what he's doing? Yeah, runtime invocations next. The runtime sends this message to Lambda to request an invocation event. The response body contains the payload from the invocation, which is a JSON document that contains event data from the function trigger. The response headers contain additional data about the invocation, so we can get this thing. Oh, including like how long we have to run this thing. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we got a bunch of stuff. Invocation response. Wait, do you have? Okay, example. See, here's the example. So while do, we want to curl and get this, and they say they're gonna give I mean, so if I just run this, this should print out to the screen what happened with it. Okay, so that's great. Let's do that, and then they have the headers also that are being. I guess it doesn't really say. Oh, response headers. Okay. So response headers, which have interesting information in them, but not really helpful for me right now, maybe in the future. But I think it actually comes with the body. So let's run this not silently, and we should get data printed out to the screen for this one. Then what we're going to do is, after this successfully runs, we know it successfully runs because it will literally crash the program if it fails. Then I want to grab, I want to run our handler, which is this here, into the result. And then at the very end, after the function is run to completion, the runtime sends an invocation response to Lambda, and then Lambda sends the response to the client. So we're going to post this. So I copy you. Now this is interesting. Okay, so I need the request ID. The Lambda, okay, Lambda runtime AWS request ID actually comes with, I need to use the request ID that's given to me in the headers of this. So before we run that, we're gonna need to grab. We do need to dump. Okay, so we need to do the thing. Okay, so we're gonna do headers equals and that's the make temp. So make a temp directory. So create a temp directory in /temp, for example. That. Okay. Then so get the okay, so get the next get the context, get the run. So get the next invocation event for the function and run it. Save the headers into the headers location, and which we will use later to tell Lambda that we are finished with the Lambda function. Okay, so we need that -d to dump into, I believe, just headers like that. How do they do it? So it's just -l. What was the L? Location. I don't think I really need to care too much about the L because they should be giving me the proper one. But okay, dump header file with the file name. Yeah, quoting it is safer. Okay. So we do our curl. It's a get request to this. That dumps into the headers. We can run a result, and that's great, but we need to get this request ID out of the headers. So that's going to be the next thing. So the headers file has a request ID in it that we need to send the response API call. So we need to grab that out. So let's start with just, I guess, cat the headers. And just sort of see what we got in there. Okay, so if I take you, and let's deploy this and give it a shot. Okay, so now another thing that's in here. So start request ID is this. So that's that UUID. Is there an environment variable that we get that just has that in it too? I remember that Lambda was saying that we get just a bunch of environment variables. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything that's like specifically request ID. Let's see, configure environment variables with the API, retrieve environment variables. Okay, these are like setting environment variables myself. I want to know what the default ones are. Defined runtime environment variables. Here we go. Okay, so handler. Okay, so the region, the execution environment. Okay, so it looks like they doesn't have access to these. Also, if people are storing their Lambda functions in Git and somebody's able to like throw in a bootstrap in there and nobody notices, you could totally get environment variables and just send them off to somebody else outside of there because you have access to curl. So something to consider is that's an attack vector right there. And especially with like, there's been some reports of more and more open source projects getting like just sort of somebody just like randomly adding in their own little thing into the code and nobody noticing. This is definitely something that could happen there. Okay, so I have my request ID. But I don't have access to this here. They have access to this. Okay, here's what I got out of the curl. Lambda Rust cannot execute binary file. var task bootstrap line 25 result, command not found. So line 25. So right here where I try to do this handler. Interesting. So it tried to find bootstrap. What was handler again? So handler is this Lambda rust like that. Okay. So just Lambda rust. Lambda rust is the name of this right here. Okay. Oh, Vartax. Oh yeah. So bootstrap is where. So is in Vartax bootstrap, command not found. Is it because shell.e is not found? Huh, interesting. Okay. I wonder if I switch this off and I just do oh, do I have to quote this and do like the no spaces thing? Let's try that where I'm like just execute handler like that. I don't think that's gonna work. Maybe I put the dot slash outside of the parentheses too. Also cat, no such file or directory. Okay, so I have a couple different issues that are happening here. So I curl this. So let's work on one thing at a time. So I'm curling to try to find these headers. So cat, I want you. Headers command not found. Okay. Okay. I do this make temp. I did this in the same way, right? This is how I create it. Yes, that's how I create it. Okay. So I want to cat. I want to cat these headers. So cat. That works here. Let's try. Oh, let's try this. Maybe that's. Yep. Okay. Okay. So if I quote you, you also work. So let's do this one. Quote. I was trying to be a little bit too clever with that. So we're going to replace you with cat headers. And so that should now give us what these headers are, and we should be able to now extract that out. Now, the other problem here is I want to echo the handler. And then we need to run this. And I'm wondering if this is the same issue here. Okay, so we have this test.sh. I want to was it like test equals test.sh. Okay, this is the command that I want to do. So, okay, result equals this, but we've used handler for you. I should double check with that. Okay, so hold on. We'll do handler equals test.sh. Oh, no space. Keep on forgetting. Handler. So we'll do go handler is that. Okay, so back to test. So that's gonna be a problem here. So I want to, it wouldn't be something like that, right? Maybe it is. It is. Okay. So we're going to do a results shell to e $handler. Okay, so that should work now with this entire thing. Okay, so we see what the handler is, we get the result from this, and then we're going to cat the headers. Okay, so what's next? Okay, so our handler is Lambda Rust here. Lambda Rust cannot execute binary file. Also, we get the end here, which means I didn't see the headers. Oh, hold on, because this ended right away. So cannot execute binary file. Are you not executable? I could swear that you're executable, but maybe for some reason you're not. Strange. Okay, so let's try. And so this handler is indeed Lambda Rest like that, which is the name of this binary here. Just to make sure that we're seeing what we think we're seeing, I'm going to just run an ls-l so we can just see what are we working with. got a tiny bit of extra time today because it's a sprint Friday. My first meeting isn't until 9 a.m. So I have a little tiny bit extra. I think I can end at 8:30. So I got like another 10 minutes or so. But let's see. Okay, so here's our Lambda Rust. The executable bit is set on it, and anybody can run it. Oh, cannot execute binary file. Okay, so I was trying to execute. Okay. I don't want to execute a binary file. I want, well, I mean, I do kind of. I guess I don't want to execute. I want to run it. So how do I run a binary file? So shell run binary file. Okay, so program, shell program is equivalent to that. Yeah, so I'm running already. I guess like it's because it's, so I want to do just shell program. I don't need this. I don't need the dash E. I just do that. That's what I do. Yeah, I know those, but those are in my path. Whereas this other one is not in my path. So that's the reason why I sort of felt that I need to do that. But okay. Still cannot execute binary file. Okay. What if I just do /? You think that just that should work? I'm so like just don't believe it. That worked though. Okay, so the / worked. Just to make sure, let's take off the / because this handler is not going to be in my path, right? So it's going to try to run this thing, and I think that it's going to just say like file not found or command not found. I think. Well, let's find out. Yep, command not found here. So I need to do just / here. Okay. Okay. So I do the /, I run it, and then we do, okay, so we ran it by now. We do a, okay, I'm now printing out the response headers, and we see this Lambda runtime ADBS request ID, and so I need this thing right here. Okay. So I need to cut that out. I used to use awk for this. You're using cut. I have cuts there. That's fine. Let's do the explain with shell. So let's actually take thing. So let's do like cat blah and then pipe to cut dash d f2. So cut dash d f2. Let's see what you are. Delimiter. Okay, so the delimiter is like my colon. And then F2 is with no file or when file is that, read standard input. Interesting. And then is the 2 the second column of that? So F2 means field number 2. That's sort of what I was expecting. The explains the shell is saying that's when with no file or when file is dash read standard input. That feels wrong. Did I input this right? Did I use the incorrect thing? This was dash F2. Did I miss a dash in front of it? I did. Fields list. Select only these fields. Okay, so starting with 1 most likely. Okay, so we can use cut dash D for the delimiter. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We are going to find. So we're gonna cat headers. We can actually grep out of headers. Is it grep file name or is it grep pattern? It's grep pattern file. Okay, so I want to do I want to grep for this. So grep for this from this file, we're gonna pipe to cut D, and then I think it's I have to do it immediately. So this is colon, and then I want there's a space, and then the actual thing that I want, and so then that's gonna be dash F2. And so this is now gonna give me the quest ID is equal to that. Okay. So I grab that out, and now I can curl this post. We're going to go to the Lambda runtime API, this version. We're going to send it the request ID. And the response is just pure data, a success. I actually want it to be this result. So let's result, and you get all stringified. You need to tr the output. Were they doing tr? Wait, no, wrong one. This one. What's the tr? Oh yeah, pipe to tr-d. What's tr do? Is that truncate? Whatever. Yeah, let's just deploy. Let's just see if it works. Whatever. What's the worst that could happen? Truncate. Remove the extra white space, probably. But let's see. It might just work. It might not. Okay, so run our test. Exited. Okay, error exited. URL using bad illegal format or missing URL from this last curl. Okay, so what I want to do, because I bet we do have to tr something, but let's take this entire thing and figure out what it looks like. So we'll do a echo viewer. This is the like sort of like response URI is that. Okay, and do it one more time. Okay, so HTTP, so to localhost : see that runtime invocation. Yep, there it is. There is a space right there. So right when I get that, I need to truncate. Do I want to do this after? Set -x in front of your script won't work while you're testing stuff. I don't know. Okay, truncate. Man, TR for truncate. Oh, translate characters. That's what it is. I'll trace the commands and you'll see them before they will be executed. Oh, really? Oh, okay. I did not know that I could do that. Those are all those things that like I never actually got into when I was writing scripts, and that would have been so nice to know about that stuff. It just did lots of echoes. What was I doing? Where was I going? Okay, so I need to trim white space from this request ID here. Actually, no, I don't think I can do. Okay, so let's just do shell script trim white space. How to trim leading. Fine, you can have them. That's one way. Man, I love how like there's so many of these ways of doing it. Oh, xargs without arguments will do that. Xargs will fail to deliver if the input contains backslashes and single quotes. Maybe. A lot of people are suggesting that we just do this awk like that. So awk taken that equals this thing, grab the first one. That's trailing. That trims at the end, right? That doesn't trim at the beginning. Remove leading white space. Oh man, there's so many different things. I'm always hesitant to like just run this stuff from random things. Okay, because when like TR does the job. Wait, what's TR? TR dash D blank. Okay, what's the dash D in TR? delete characters in string from the input. Okay. Dash D, delete characters in string from the input. Wouldn't I just do like space? So hold on, I'm confused. Can I do like echo? I want like I guess like test equals and we're gonna do echo with the space hello, pipe this to tr-d, and then the input would be like a space like that. And so if I run you, echo a test. Okay. That removed the trailing space. Now, does it remove all the spaces? So if I had like spaces in here, yeah, that removed all the spaces, but that might not be a problem because it's a URL and I don't want any spaces. So just doing that might be fine. What were you doing with the TR? You're doing TRD space. Is that like a special thing? I'll throw you in there, but I think it's like relatively similar to what I got. We'll do it that way. Okay, so request ID equals this pipe cut to that, pipe to that. Okay, so now I'm watching the time. I'm seeing how much I can stretch it. Success! 200 success. Okay, so this works. I got a status okay. Response is completely empty. Great. Okay, so that's fun. Why was that completely empty? So completely empty response. I was hoping that this result from the handler. So let's do an echo result of running handler is result. Okay, so result of running handler is this hello world from Rust. I am attempting to put that in here with the oh, this D is not what I want. I bet. I want okay, so I need documentation. It probably has something here. D of response. Oh, same error, just result not. Okay. Oh, yeah. Duh. Okay. Just do in there, deploy, test, response, hello world from Rust. Okay, so what did we do here? We created a bootstrap file which I could theoretically put into a layer and then just add in there. So the idea is that this won't compile and run the code at runtime. I don't want to do that anyways. That would take too long. What it does allow me to do is create a pre-compiled binary file that then I just put into my Lambda function. I could then grab this information. We see like we have JSON coming in. I could then have that passed in as a parameter to my Rust application. It could use something like Serde to parse that out into values, do its thing, and then respond back with that again. So these are very possible. And then I could use the bootstrap to also like determine exactly how that got sent back. So it could set the headers, it could set whatever other things coming out. So I'm happy with that. I think this is going to be pretty cool for me to take a look into and sort of experiment with it. I unfortunately, as I sort of have alluded to, I need to run. I need to go off to go run some meetings for Sprint Day. Let's see. Tomorrow, Saturday, so no stream tomorrow. Sunday morning, we'll be playing some Screeps Arena again. We're doing that all that in Rust. So if you are interested in that, I would love to see you there. And that's usually a longer stream too, because, you know, I don't usually work on Sundays. And then we'll be back for more just Rust web dev stuff on Monday. So with that, have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. See you next time. Bye.